Yeah.
Pappy. I did go somewhere in Denver, visiting my daughter, and had a full flight of Pappy.
For how much?
It included a 12-year, 3-year, and 18-year. I'm trying to remember if it had a 10-year. It must have been a 10-year.
Old Ribs 10.
Yeah. I don't know because I didn't trade it.
1500.
I would say it was pretty expensive.
Yeah. If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Oh, exactly.
Absolutely.
So that was in Boulder, Colorado.
Excuse me, how much is this?
Sir, you don't need it.
Sir, we handed you the wrong menu.
Yes.
So we'll talk about Denver a little bit. We want you guys to talk about Espinosa. We want you to talk about the cigar and what's going on now in the cigar industry.
Wow, that's a lot of questions.
I expect you to know the answers to that.
Listen, I could touch on the Espinosa part. It's been an incredible since February of last year that we released the Knuckle Sandwich, the collaboration with Guy. It's been it was an unbelievable 2022, and we've started off the year going strong again. You know, the trade shows seem to be. Did he fall? The trade shows seem to be coming quickly nowadays, and even next year they'll be even more quick. But we joined TAA this year, so we now had TPE in February, TAA in March. We're now gearing up for PCA, and it's not only just designing the booth. And we have a big party with Guy Fieri we're going to host. We have Guy at the booth. There's a lot of logistics involved with getting ready for the PCA. And then we host our big hometown festival, Ozona Palooza. That's in November. So once we get back from the trade show, we'll be turning our sights toward that. And then November, quickly turning our sights back to the TPE in January. So it's become nonstop.
So COVID had a little break there, and it seems like everybody's starting to make up for that.
Listen, COVID was no secret. It was really good to the cigar industry and the liquor industry.
Yeah.
You got them both here.
Yeah.
But there was seemed to be a lot of disposable income being shared on cigars and alcohol.
Thank you, Uncle Sam.
Thank you, Uncle Sam. And I think it generated a lot newer smokers that started coming in and kind of really enjoying this lifestyle. And it stayed that way. So there is going to be a little bit of a correction. There is going to be a little bit of slowdown. 2021 and 2022 were anomaly years. I mean, we cannot expect to grow. I'd love to. We can't expect to grow at the pace we grew in 2021 and 2022.
Well, that's because people were starving for, like Carolyn said,
Something to do.
Somewhere to go.
Personal
And
interaction.
Personal
Because they were being
interaction.
isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I from what I've experienced in the last month, I really see the industry growing more.
Absolutely.
Because, like you said, it brought in a lot of new smokers. I get people every day. What do you smoke? Where do you smoke at? You know, I'd like to try it. So it's. I think
Listen,
it's
here in Carolina, you guys just had back-to-back huge festivals.
Yeah.
And it's all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, not only here, these festivals are everywhere. There's more and more people attending. You know, we do the Great Smoke in South Florida. It's 2,000 people there.
It's amazing.
You know, we're going to do Rocky Mountain in Denver in August. Another 2,000 people.
When in August are you going to be there?
End of August. August 27th, I believe, is the day of the festival. And if you've
Might
never
be.
been to a Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, you want to attend it.
That is
It's
going
the
on the
best
calendar.
run festival in the country.
It's going on the calendar.
Yeah.
Love Denver. My daughter's out there. Yeah, it'd be a great reason to visit. You know, Mama Huff will want to go.
Yeah.
There's one in Virginia too, right? September.
Maybe.
I think I've heard something in this.
I got my calendar somewhere, and it just I usually just fill in the year. I only set the calendar with these guys 2 or 3 months out.
Right.
But the year is, I got to pinpoint all the different festivals that are going on, and every year is more and more and more to keep track of. We're also doing the Big Smokes, the Cigar Aficionado Big Smoke.
Yeah.
We did it in November. We had Guy out there. It was unbelievable. We did Big Smoke Meets Whiskey Fest in, I believe it was March.
Is that in Louisville?
That was down in Miami, down in
Miami, okay.
Hollywood, Florida. We did that festival. It just seems like there's Tampa Cigar Bash. That is in October. I just got back from Smokelahoma in Oklahoma. It's crazy. It's crazy. That was part of this 5 weeks of travel. I told Eric, and both Eric and I have grown weary of all the travel. I do enjoy it. It's the travel aspect of it that is exhausting. So I told Eric, listen, this year I'm looking to plan. Maybe I was usually on the road 3 weeks of the month, maybe 2 weeks, and he wasn't even gung ho to do that. Eric. We got Eric where we want Eric. Eric's coming out for the big events.
Right.
That's what he should be doing.
Absolutely.
That's what he should be doing. That's why he hired me he was in town for one of the festivals.
Yeah.
I set my schedule 2 to 3 months out, want to travel 2 weeks. And then we hit Smokelahoma. Eric says, can you cover Smokelahoma? I look, and that's one of the weeks I'm not traveling. I can cover Smokelahoma. And then it's my wife's birthday a week later, and she's, I'd like to go to Texas. Austin, Texas for my birthday. May 10th was her birthday. I'd like to go to Austin, Texas. She's been to 33 of the 50 states. Texas wasn't one of them. So let's go to Texas. We'll do Houston. We'll do Austin. We'll do Waco. We'll do San Antonio. Whirlwind 4 days. That was one of the other weeks I wasn't traveling. So now this sets me on the road 5 straight weeks. Next week I'm in the office. I got 2 more weeks of travel, and then I'm shutting it down mid-June till PCA.
Which is July
7th.
through the 11th.
Yeah.
And but the commitment that Espinosa has to be at these events, that's huge.
It's
huge commitment to do that, to send someone at your level or Eric's level to those events says a lot about the company and their commitment to their brand, but also the cigar industry as a whole. Eric came up for Queen City Cigar Fest. They had a great time. I think it was at Ash and Barrel. Had a great forum. And that was well received, but that's a commitment that you're making to the market that you don't see from every brand. You might see some representatives of the company there, but you're not seeing the top individuals in the company there. And I think that commitment speaks volumes about who you are as a brand, but as a person, that you're going to be there and be committed to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Eric put together, he brought me on board, he brought Richie Otero. Richie's handling key accounts, the biddies, the ABCs, the specs, the smoker friendlies. Richie's handling those accounts. We're slowly moving. We just hired another in-house rep, Joshua Bowling. Joshua Bowling had a cigar shop in Durham, North Carolina.
Great.
And now he lives in Kansas City. We hired him as an in-house guy last week. He'll be covering Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas City, and eventually we'll give him Minnesota, where we have an Espinosa Lounge. So, little by little, we're growing, trying to add in-house guys. The brokers are doing really well for us, and there's some brokers that I'll never get rid of. But the name of the game is to have an in-house staff.
Absolutely.
That is dedicated to your brand, as opposed to someone that you're a page in a catalog. So,
absolutely. Well, it's like people like that we deal with Gavin on a regular basis, and Gavin stays in touch and makes sure we know what's available. Always responsive. We can't ask for any more than that.
No, Gavin's about to celebrate 2 years with us.
And also, I'm finally not the new guy. Took almost 2 years.
Now there's another new guy, the FNG.
I was going to say that, but I'm glad you did.
I'm happy to take that title off my card.
He's no
Gotta
longer
get new
FNG.
You
business
don't have to
cards.
carry the bags now.
Yeah. Oh no, I still will. I try to be a team player.
So yeah, you've you got your feet. I think we met when you first came.
Yeah.
That was when I took over the Carolinas. That'd have been November of a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so it was almost your first day, and I remember you coming in then, and you've certainly grown.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Got more comfortable with people. It just takes 2 years for me to warm up.
Gavin's doing great. I bust his chops a lot. I bust everybody's chops a lot. You know, some take it better than others. I'm working on Gavin's sense of humor. I test
Well, at least he laughs
I
now.
test him on a daily basis.
First time it was like this.
Yeah, there's still some like that.
We sat back in the corner.
Yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like,
I can sort of see in his head where is Jack serious or is he messing with me?
"Where's my resume?"
For the record, I just mentally flip a coin. I'm like, all right, maybe I got to.
I got two. I got my Midwest rep who's a ball buster, Tyler Jones, and then Tony Gomez in Denver, which Tony is one unique individual. All my guys are very unique in a way, but Tyler Jones is a ball buster, ex-military guy, and he's 26 years old, but he can play the game.
Well,
And we're on a thread.
Caroline need to be.
Yeah, we're on a thread. I got them on a thread where I challenge them all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And Tyler Jones tears into these guys, and you know, Gavin's getting a little bit better at it, but a lot of times
Just coming
it was
back with some smack.
Yeah. His smack talk before was like, "Good job, guys," and I'm like,
You guys are
"You gotta
awesome."
get in there."
I'm a team player. It's
I
a
can learn a
problem.
lot from you.
Yeah. But you know, listen. If you're not having fun in this industry, you're doing it wrong. You're
Exactly.
truly doing it wrong because
Exactly.
this is a wonderful industry. It's hard work. You know, a lot of people will see this or see me at an event tomorrow night. I'm in Greenville. I got an event. We'll see me at an event, and I might have a drink in my hand and enjoying it. And Jack, how the hell can I do that? But you didn't see the 9 hours that I was visiting shops
Absolutely.
and the 2-hour drive to Greenville to get
Every
ready
time.
for that event.
And the construction on the road that's
Oh,
taken
yeah.
place for the last 20 years on the way to Greenville.
Jack has a quote, and it cracks me up because usually, the most times, I'll hear questions about becoming a rep. Jack's with me because he's got way more experience. And Jack will ask him this, and be like, "So you married right now?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right. You got a kid too?" They're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, that's fine." Reps have that. He's like, "Do you like seeing them?" And they'll go, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh man, you were so close."
That's true. That's the first thing I said. There was a guy that came in, and I wanted to be a rep, and I said, "Tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you married?" He says, "Oh yeah, I've been married like 4 years. Got any kids yet?" "Got a 2-year-old." I said, "Do you like them?" I said, "Because you're asking if you can get into a job that's not Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You're going to work a lot of weekends. You're going to have a lot of windshield time. How many states do you have? 6?
6.
Gavin's got 6 states to cover. You know, it's to be good in this. It's not difficult. I tell them 80% of the game of being a good rep is show up and don't be a dick. You know, you show up and you're a likable guy, and how do you not like? Look at that face. How do you not like that face?
I mean, you've got 1 out of 2. That's
Yeah. All right, so he's a dick.
he does show up though. My God.
That'd be like the first time I've been accused of being a dick.
Hey, just so y'all know, we are highly joking. He's the furthest thing from
Oh my God, yeah, Gavin is the furthest thing. It's frustrating at times, but he's the furthest thing from. I wouldn't go with the D word.
So we had a rep that fit the category, and I wouldn't deal with it.
How bad?
T ended up having to meet with him. Then he left and went somewhere else, and he's gone.
He's gone.
It's so exciting.
He's gone.
It happens a
But I
lot.
think people don't realize the interpersonal relationships are so important, and they do, but I don't think they capitalize on it. You know, and
Well,
trust is one of the biggest things that we can have. Is
the only way you succeed being a rep that nobody likes is having a brand that sells. That doesn't need to be hand sold.
Right.
Most boutique brands will thrive in a store that, listen, there's stores that sell cigars and stores that have cigars for sale.
Right.
Boutiques will thrive in a store that sells cigars. They will struggle in a store that there's a cashier and, hey, go pick out your cigar.
Right.
You know, that type of store. You will only succeed being that rep that people don't like, if you have a brand that doesn't need hand selling.
It's undeniable.
Yeah, you could work for one of the big guys. You could work for Fuente. You know, Padron ever decided to get reps, that rep wouldn't have a problem in life.
No, his problem is I don't have it.
Yeah. So if you have that type of you'll actually, I know some reps that work for those companies that succeed because the store owner wants them out of their store so quickly that the moment they walk in the door, that owner is giving them an order. Here's the order, goodbye.
Just to get them out.
Just to get them out. And it works for them. That guy's visiting 10 shops a day, where the guy that's liked is visiting 5.
Because he's doing this.
Because he's doing this. He wants to.
We twisted their arm to stay today. They're busy.
I actually thought the podcast was on Tuesdays.
It used to be on Tuesday.
There you go.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And we had to have somebody that runs the equipment, and also we had some schedule changes.
Yeah.
So Wednesdays seemed to be the best day to work everybody in. So yeah, you're right. Absolutely,
Yeah.
we had to switch.
Because Gavin was asking me on the way, and I said, I want to say it's a Tuesday, and because he said we might have to be on the podcast, and I said the podcast was yesterday, and he goes, oh, I thought it was Wednesday.
like
And I
wait-
come in and look at the calendar. I said, I'll be damned, it's today.
Do you like the way you said that? We may have to be on the podcast. I
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I'm not saying no to a podcast, especially people I like. I like you guys.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
keep telling Jack, man, give me a heads up when you come, but we got to go out and have dinner.
Yeah.
I got to get you back into web so you'll like it.
Which one is that?
That's the one that,
the one where
The reservation, your Seinfeld experience.
Yeah.
Seinfeld 4,
Yeah.
it'd be 5 minutes.
It'll be.
And I will tell you, it's one of the greatest spots, and I felt so bad about it. So I want to pay you back for that.
All right.
And I don't think I'll ever get Dennis back out of the house, but
Yeah, Dennis didn't believe me because Dennis got there after me.
Yeah.
And I walked in and we have a reservation for 7. She goes, it'll be about 45 minutes an hour now.
I wish y'all would have called me.
So I kind of like walk away dumbfounded, like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And then the next guy comes and she says, do you have a reservation? And he says, no. And she says, it'll be 45 minutes an hour. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now that doesn't make sense.
I really don't know where the disconnect was on that, but we will never have
Maybe
that
with the
situation.
17-year-old girl that was the hostess.
Could
But
be.
she stood her ground.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
She
she
didn't
runs
back
into
down.
that a lot of stuff every day, you know. And,
I was like,
and I'll tell you, just getting people to work.
And it was fun
Good
watching
stuff.
Dennis. It was fun watching Dennis because
I'm glad you had a
he
good
walks
time.
in, and I told him exactly what had just happened, and he looked at me like, you're wrong. And he goes to her, and I sat back, and he's like getting more and more frustrated because she's telling him the same thing.
And she has no idea who she's talking to. Like,
Oh,
this
no,
dude
no,
could
no.
break her like that.
Yeah. He might be smiling, but he can turn on a dime.
No doubt. That's one dude I stay on the good side. Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Gavin, tell us about this cigar.
All right, so what we're smoking right now is the Espinosa 10-year. Celebrate our 10th year as Espinosa Cigars. We launched it last year at the PCA. It uses a hybrid Habano wrapper we got from AJ Fernandez. So it's a Nicaraguan Puro, very much medium. Has a little bit of cedary notes to it. What I like about it, and Hector, who is our master blender, heck of a palate for Habano, which is good because Eric, who also helps with all the blending, predominantly smokes Habano. The funniest thing ever is anytime I've been in the office and they'll talk about blends and Eric's like, well, have we considered Habano? And then Hector getting mad, be like, we got like 7 different cigars with Habano wrapper. What if we do something different? He's like, I don't know, I got something with Habano wrapper. Everyone's like, we know. We're aware.
Well, that's when we put out 601 Black. And in the beginning, one of the first meetings, Eric said, but you want to put something out to compete with Crema, which is one of our best-selling cigars. Yeah. You know, you want to put out another Connecticut? And my answer was, we got like 7 Habanos.
Well, you'll always gravitate to your comfort level, right?
Yeah.
You always do. So it's
Eric,
good to be challenged a little bit.
Eric owns it now. He'll be like, yeah, I like Habano. I'm like, everyone's like, that's not a secret. Like, you can look at the blends and be like, yeah, this guy likes Habano.
And he was right. And he was right about 601 Black. Crema blew it out of the water. So it's
So
discontinued.
you got to say,
It's
so you got to say, I told you so.
Yeah,
That's
no,
always fun.
He got to say it to me.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he got to say it to me. So,
I love 6-0 in black. That's one of my favorites we've done.
well, good for you. No more.
No more.
I like the 601.
Yeah.
The orange, the black, I like them all.
The orange was the limited. You guys get that in here?
We had it.
Yeah, we had.
We had it.
So other than that, I mean, we're gearing up for PCA.
So for guys that don't know what PCA is, Premium Cigar Association of America does a lot of lobbying for the cigar industry in and of itself. But they have, 2 annual meetings? Or just this is the first one?
I haven't
So-
been invited to the two.
No, this is only one, but it's July.
They have a
Trade
show.
Trade show, right, okay. This one's in Las Vegas. It's July 7th through 11th. Incredible experience. I've yet to go. And if nothing else, I need to go to talk to you guys to do that. And just always falls at the wrong time, personally for me. So I'm looking forward to going my first time. I'm looking next year.
Okay.
So
Next year it's in April.
that'll be even better. April will be better, so that'll work out better. It's not 150 degrees; it's 100.
Yeah.
Well,
But who
it's,
goes outside? I gamble.
Actually,
10 cents. How long I keep saying 10 cents?
Run the bottom board. Go to it. Make it better than what they were. He's speaking
Yeah, lead them to light a candle symbol, light a square symbol, whatever, however.
You were coming back saying, "Man, there's so much opportunity in the world."
outdoors. That's it. I think that's why they delayed that. They came back. I mean, they
It's still.
I can't drink it. I can't drink it.
Well, hopefully they'll decide people in neighborhoods or Nashville or Kobe.
I use my place to spend it.
Well, thank goodness we're not having any situations. We're looking at expansion right now.
Because honestly,
We have to do it. Besides the 3,000. Archway here, you're going to be able to go in there. We'll expand the smoking into that area.
okay.
And then the other, roughly, probably a smoke eater in there. And our area, we get from one of the biggest, I can tell you guys, this is the feedback that we receive back home in common sense. One of the biggest, but, Thursday and Saturday nights, we have and people have stay because we keep them in between. So as we expand over here, we're going to put a nuisance over there. And then I turned the other side into a smoking lounge, and then you're good.
So the side that's non-smoking, is that just going to be called barrel because you remove the smoke?
Smokeless barrel. Now I don't know what the name of it's going to be, and we're going to come up with a name for it. I've gone through like, are we going to do a speakeasy, kind of a cool thing like that? So we'll figure it out. We got another 6-8 months for them to get their stuff done before we can get in there. So it'll be another year plus before we get in there. But we've been waiting to get in here since we moved in. Because, the building cost to expand on the front of this building is so, you're not going to get an ROI on that. This will be a better ROI, so not near as much. But yeah, so it's expanding here. T, tell us about Queen City Cigar Fest.
It's over.
It looked like a good time.
It was a great time. It was a great time. We had a lot of people that actually returned from out of state. Texas, Oklahoma, Virginia. I think we ended up with 1,300 people.
Nice.
We started out Wednesday night with the meet and greet up at Taylor Smoke in Uptown. Thursday we came here to Smoke and Barrel, and a lot of positive feedback on the building itself, the comfort level. We had great music, some nice giveaways. We did a couple raffles here. We left here Thursday night. We had a sneaker ball at Ash and Barrel. Had a great time. Saturday was a good time. We had the golf tournament on Saturday. We also had the gun range event on Saturday, which was really cool.
Carol Lee host that one?
No, she wasn't there. Surprisingly, she was not there at the gun range. That shocked me. We also did a panel discussion, which was just so awesome. We had Eric there, and which was hilarious because he is.
Yeah, Carol. I was talking to Carol Lee earlier, and she was saying Eric took over.
Oh, it was crazy. We had, and the thing about the panel, what was so amazing about the panel is that you had Abe that does e-commerce. We had Jax, we had Carol Lee, we had Eric, we had Monica out of Atlanta. She's the
Lipstick? No.
Stanley's Cigar Lounge, which is named after her grandfather. She's only African American female that runs a lounge in Atlanta.
Wonderful.
And then we had Jerome from Iconic Smokes, and it was just awesome. Like questions, answers, and the thing about it is, people were comfortable with asking questions. People were comfortable, and Eric made them feel that way. Like it was just very knowledgeable, and we haven't had the brief yet after, but we're supposed to get together because I was on the planning committee. We're supposed to get together with Drita and who's the founder of Queen City Cigar Fest, and have a discussion and figure out, plans for next year. And I think, one of the things that we need to bring back each year is going to be that panel.
It sounded like, it was an incredible panel.
Yeah, awesome.
Did Drita put that together?
Yeah.
She did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And she definitely consulted with us and feedback on who we get, and we tried to get Sean, but he was unavailable. Sean Williams from Cohiba, he was unavailable. But it was just to see the diversity of the panel, and
Some of them.
actually to have Eric Espinosa and Jack and Carol Lee all on the same panel was, I mean, you're gonna have to dig deep next year.
That's a power panel. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is. A lot of knowledge, a lot of experience.
Oh God, yes.
Great personality, strong personality.
Yeah.
All of them.
And Monica was being a retailer and a lounge owner she was the truth. I mean, it was just awesome, man. It was awesome.
Good.
Some of the same things that we run into, exact same thing. Exact same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they're universal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't get together enough as owners.
Yeah.
I mean, we should and talk about. Now, Preston and I will talk.
Yeah.
You know, but
And we've had him on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
But
nice.
if we run into issues, we have people we can call.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
call each other and we'll say, "Hey, are you running into this?" He called me the other day, and I can't remember. It's one of the copyright companies, and you're like, "Is this legit? Do I have to pay this?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
If you play any kind of music in here, you got to have a copyright contract that you pay for to allow for the music. And I said, believe
That's
me,
with BMI, is it?
well, that's one of them.
That's one of them.
AC something is the other.
Yeah.
There's two majors, and they cover all the music that's out there. And the first time they were coming after me, and I'm like, what the heck? What is this? You know? And I called Larry Payne at Gold Leaf, and at the time Larry was the only one I really knew. I didn't know Preston at the time, and I called him, and he said, "Brother, it's real. You gotta pay it." You know, and it's the little things you don't know that you get into, but no, we don't get together enough as cigar owners to talk about those issues, and I think that brings up a very good point that we should.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
even if it's once a year, you know, hey, what are y'all seeing? What's working, what's not? You know, because honestly, geographically, we don't really compete.
No.
I mean, we have completely different demographics that we deal with, different areas, so it's a comfortable meeting.
Right. Right.
You know, you're not speaking to people that you're knocking heads with, which is great in this area. I think, you know, Vintage bought Whiskars in Gastonia, and I think that fits their business model well. The way it's laid out, the whole atmosphere, I think they'll do well there. You know, they're going to bring in a whole different ball game. Marketing, they got the money for it, and I think that will be successful.
Okay.
Yeah. But we get along, you know, everybody's here, there's enough for everybody, and we have a great community of cigar owners and cigar business. And we do share customers, obviously, but it all works out. So that's good. So I'm glad Queen City went well here. I'm lobbying. I want another day. I want 2 days. So, yeah, it's great. It's great. But everybody's wore out by the time they get to Sunday.
It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Wednesday through Sunday.
Sunday. There's an event Sunday?
Brunch.
And then go home.
Everybody drags in there on Sunday morning on, can I have a Bloody Mary? I got to get back up.
Little hair of the dog.
And the thing is that a lot of the people that were from out of town, well, some of the people that were from out of town, they left the brunch Sunday and came here.
Nice.
It's like, you know, we just want to relax. So, you know,
Well, every lounge has its feel, you know, its vibe, its own thing, and you know, I've always wanted a laid-back, comfortable atmosphere. You know, you come here, everything leave it out the door. All we put on TV is sports. We don't have any. Let me look around what we got on right now. We don't have any, you know, news or. We don't want that. Come here, get away from it. Find somebody new to talk to.
There you go.
Yeah. I have more and more accounts that have a no news channel policy.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason
impressive, man.
during basketball season, some of the TNT game, some things are on TNT, TBS, and some others, and so from the night before they'll still be on, and we have to change it. But yeah, I mean, it's not worth it. Nobody wants to have that conversation and talk about it. You know? So the cigar industry is continuing to grow. It's continuing to be popular. One of the things that happened last week, it may have been this week or last week, Arturo Fuente lost £1 million worth of cigars in a fire in the Connecticut.
So what is incredible about that is I was with Eric on Wednesday night in Philly. We were doing it's an event called Let My People Smoke out of Twin Smoke, a shop in South Philly. Anthony Renzulli, an amazing event. I think this was the 18th year.
Oh, cool.
It is, if you want to be fed and fed well, that's the event to go to. It is first class. Eric is basically the host of this event. And at one point, I mean, we're a couple hours into this event, and this is Wednesday night, and I'm talking to some people by the stage, and Eric walks by me and gets on the stage, jokes with the people, says a couple of jokes, and he says, all seriousness, we have a special guest here today, and these guys, I mean, if there ever be some type of reality show based in a cigar shop, it would be that cigar shop. The cast of characters in that cigar shop are insane. And Eric says, we have a very special guest here today. He came a long way to be with you guys. He's my friend. He makes some of the best cigars in the world. And I'm looking at him like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And he goes, I want to bring up Carlito Fuente. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking this is one of these guys dressed as Carlito Fuente.
Yeah.
And this is going to be some gag that they're running.
Right.
And I look out, and there's Carlito Fuente coming through the crowd.
Holy shit.
We knew nothing about the fire, but it was that morning.
No
And
kidding.
Carlito was with them and spent the night there and went back to the shop and was there till 2 in the morning. I woke up to that news the next morning. But
And he knew about it.
And he
The consummate professional that he is.
yeah, he knew about it. He came. He didn't cancel any of his plans. He knew he had commitments, and he wanted to be at this event with them. And then I know he had a little tour of cities that he was on, and this was the first one. But he had come directly from the DR.
No kidding.
And I talked to him for a long time. No mention of the fire, no mention of anything. And I think he needed to get away that night.
I would imagine.
So yeah, I mean, listen.
Now, as a percentage of cigar inventory or tobacco leaf inventory, because they lost tobacco leaves that are being aged, right?
They lost a million pounds according.
How much is that? I mean, when we talk about Arturo Fuente, it's a huge company.
Yeah.
Of all of their barns and how much is that of what their total? I mean, obviously it's a hit. I just don't know how big it is.
Well, the shocking news to me in the press release was that this will not affect production.
Well, see, that's why I'm asking.
And
It's
I'm like,
got
all
to.
right.
Well, I mean, you can't. No offense. We
A company that large. Listen, when I worked with General, and I went to the factory in the DR, we walked into a room the size of a gymnasium, and it was bales of tobacco aging floor to ceiling, 30, 40-foot ceilings, and it was. And I looked up and I said, what am I looking at? And they said, well, this is all wrapper leaf. Top of the food chain here. This is all wrapper leaf. And I said, how much inventory is here? And they said, it's over $1 million. Forget pounds. It was over $1 million in inventory was sitting there. And I remember I asked, how much of this do we use for General as opposed to how much do we sell? And they said, sell? We don't sell any of this stuff. This is all ours. And that was just wrapper leaf. So the stockpile of some of these companies, AJ Fernandez, I mean, the tobacco, that guy is second to none, the amount of tobacco he has. And I'm sure Fuente is in that boat too. Sure. You know, and Carlito, like most manufacturers, are not using tobacco until it's ready.
Right.
So that had to be a huge loss for them.
I would
But
imagine.
listen, the blessing is nobody was hurt.
Right.
You know, I know Henderson Ventura had a big fire last year. His factory, I think they're just getting back up on and running. And unfortunately, these are things that happen in our industry. Alec Bradley had a fire not too long ago.
But also the
Placencia.
natural disasters,
Placencia.
the hurricanes in South America that came through, 2 back to back in the same area. That was devastating.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how much weather affects. You know, yeah, we could put out, 601 Blue. I mean, that cigar's been around since 2008, 2009. It was top 5 cigar of the year in Cigar Aficionado. The blend is the same, but you're talking about crop after crop. This is like the same bottle of wine is not the same every year. There's going to be different nuances in it. You know, the one thing we've never really done, some companies do it, they date the boxes of when they have a year. I don't know why more of us don't do it. I mean, I can kind of see why not to do it, because if you have a great as opposed to wine, sometimes you have a bottle of Camus
Right.
that everybody loves. The 2020, you might want to be a little careful with that. But the 2018 is where you want to be.
Right.
And then they have trouble selling that 2020.
Sure.
And I think the nuances in the cigar are so minimal that, it would take one discerning palate to tell you this year's a little off. And you really don't know. We're not using tobacco for that box. That the tobacco we're using is 3 or 4 years old.
Right.
At the youngest.
And how would you date the box? Would it be when it was rolled
When
or
it
when
was
it
packed.
was packed?
When it was packed. What does that mean? It mean anything. You're using tobacco today we're using tobacco that was harvested in 2017, 2018.
Right.
There's a long process. Whereas opposed to in wine, they're done that year. The grapes are harvested, the wine is
Yeah, and it's an inexact science when you're talking about how one crop does versus another, but when you start blending them, you start coming out more with that consistency. And that's what's amazing about cigars. You're so dependent on the weather, fire events, rollers, you name it, COVID, how much it affected the supply only because people couldn't work.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it wasn't there, except people weren't in there to be able to roll it.
No.
And it put everybody behind. Puente hasn't opened a new account in over 2 years.
Yeah.
I know that because I've been on the waiting list for 2 years. So they have a great model, which says we're going to supply to people that we're contracted with to supply. Absolutely respect them, So
Listen, we all struggled with that during COVID, during 2021, 2020, the later months of 2020, 2021. It started hitting our inventory started and the SKUs out of stock, and it always hits your most popular SKUs first.
absolutely,
And it did help in a way that cigars were being sold in stores that 601 Blue, Red, and Green have always moved well for us. Blue being the top of that, the 3 there. But it's kind of set. Now, because of COVID, people would call and say, you got Murcielago this, or you got Laranja this. We don't have it. We don't have, what do you have?
Right.
Well, 601 Blue, Red, and that took off again.
Of course.
So it did help our portfolio. It gave it a kick in the butt.
Well, it reignited it because people got reintroduced to it.
Absolutely.
A lot of, if you look at a lot of the new cigar smokers, they haven't tried it,
No.
right? And so you reintroduce that, and they're going, "Oh, who is that?"
Yeah.
And we have T especially has a challenge that all of us have, which is introducing people to new brands that are Espinosa. Somebody comes in, hey, you got Rocky Patel, you got Macanudo, they're going to roll off their tongues because that's what their friends smoke or that's what they've heard of or they had it at a wedding. And it's our job to make sure they understand how many quality brands are out there like Espinosa and what they put into it and the great quality that they can depend on.
I know 601 Blue. I was introduced to 601 Blue in California. Never heard of it. Never smoked it. Yeah.
And that's what listen. It's not only Espinosa. That humidor there is full of great cigars. Everybody's palate is different. You know, nobody. I'd love to sit here and tell you. I'm dying to meet the guy that's going to tell me I only smoke Espinosa. I don't want to meet that guy. You know, because I don't only smoke Espinosa. Eric doesn't only smoke. We enjoy the industry. We're all geeks at heart.
Sure.
We love this industry. We like to see what our competitors are doing, what they're putting out. If somebody says so-and-so has a great cigar this year, I want to try that cigar. I want to smoke that cigar. You know, we enjoy the industry we work in. So it always blows me away, and I tell the story a lot that, you know, tomorrow night we'll be doing an event in Greenville. Somebody's going to walk in and say, I only smoke this brand.
Right.
And you're like, why? I've been smoking for 20 years, but that humidor is full of cigars, similar, maybe not better, maybe better, but expand your horizons here. I'm not telling
10 or
you,
12 bucks.
I'm not telling you not to
it.
smoke that or not to smoke Espinosa.
Sure.
Certainly keep us in your rotation. But dude, enjoy this industry. This industry's fantastic, and unlike the boom of the 90s where what was being made was crap. Every manufacturer is making some really good cigars right now. Give them a shot.
Well, and you're saying, hey, make a $10 to $12 decision. You're not making a lifetime decision.
Yeah.
Go try something. If you don't know what to try, ask.
And I think
willing to help.
One thing the inventory problems did was help that. Because that guy that was used to smoking his same brand every day, you know, we're out of stock on that brand. What do you have that's similar?
Exactly.
And now it's T's job or Brian's job or somebody here's job to say, I know your palate, let me turn you on to this one.
Right.
Let me turn you on to this one.
And that same consistent, like that one cigar smoker will be the same person if it's like a cigar bar. We'll try 3 different beers or 3 different pours of whiskey that night.
That's true.
We're like, I only smoked this one cigar. I'm like, wait, you just gambled on 3 new drinks.
Yep.
That
But you can't-
probably costs more
Yeah.
than that cigar.
Certainly made you more money.
That part's also fair.
That
but
part
it's-
I'm okay
How
with.
do you like do you only eat like toast, eggs, and bacon every day for breakfast? And you're like, this is what I do. This is my breakfast. I'm like, no, you're gonna change.
I know people like that though. I do know people like that that have the same breakfast every day.
It's comfortable.
I had a buddy that, I mean, for 20 years, he had a tuna fish sandwich for lunch. That was it.
Oh,
Same exact tuna fish sandwich every day for lunch.
I would
You're not sick of this shit?
I would be sick of it after the first time.
Yeah.
Chicken salad, maybe. Yeah, tuna salad, no way. So, I would say this is a good stopping point. I think it's great to have you guys here.
I appreciate it.
We are privileged to have you guys here. We really appreciate you coming by the lounge today. You have a busy schedule. To include us means a lot for us.
You know, this is one of my favorite places. I'm going to come here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you saying that.
I want to
means
hear
a
about
lot.
your golf game.
Yeah, me too. But I'm back at it. It's my getaway. It's what I enjoy doing, and I get 4.5 hours to go hit a ball as
We had
hard
a great
as I
time.
can.
I played in a scramble on Monday.
Yeah.
And down in Miami, it was like 90 plus degrees. It was. I was telling Gavin yesterday. You're shocked at how the wear and tear. I mean, listen, I'm 62 now. The wear and tear riding around on a golf cart all day.
Yeah.
It can cause.
I'll be sore tomorrow.
Yeah, getting in and out of a golf cart all day long.
It's tough.
And you know, you swing. This is a scramble, so you're really not. You know, we were 11 under. We only really used 61 shots.
Right, exactly.
But we took a beating. We took a beating.
Yeah, and here today, I call it Fat Boy Beautiful. I mean, it might be 70 degrees and humidity is low, below 40% humidity, a little breeze in the air. Man, I didn't even sweat today.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. So I could play golf in weather like this all day. When we get to July, that's another story.
that's the 7:30 tee times.
Yeah.
8 o'clock tee times. Brutal.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I question.
That's what happens in Miami in the summer. Listen, you better have that 7 a.m. tee time because you don't want to be on the course at noon.
any of my
That's when
buddies,
it's half price, right? Nobody's getting out there.
any of my buddies who are like, "Hey, you want to golf?" and they're like, "I got a tee time at 11:30 and it's summer." I'm like, "No."
You don't say no to tee times.
I do when it's that late.
He's lying. He never says go tee time.
I mean, no one will support someone saying they need to golf more than a golfer.
Yeah, it'd have to be, I'm committed to a tournament, or I'm committed to get me out in 100 degrees and the humidity. Yeah.
Oh my God, we played 3 weeks ago. I played another charity scramble, and I didn't read the thing right, and it was a Saturday. And when I look at it's not an 8 a.m. start. It's a 2 p.m. start. That one was, and now it wasn't that hot. This was in April, so it wasn't as hot as if it would have been the other day. We would have died. But yeah, I'm gonna rethink that 2 o'clock start on scrambles.
Well, I had a Carl Malone today on the golf course from the Dominican, La Aurora.
Yeah.
Makes it for Carl Malone, the mailman. My son married a lady from the DR.
Okay.
So he went down over Christmas and brought me a box of the Carl Malones. He took a tour of La Aurora and really liked it. It's a good cigar.
Yeah.
It's a good cigar. But you know, we don't see it a lot around here.
La Aurora's doing some good things. Some of my good friends are there. John Farragon, the national sales right there. Ed McKenna is, I don't know what his title is, but he's up there. So and their rep Willie Morante. So they're moving and moving in the right direction.
Good. No, it's a great brand. Enjoyed it. So yeah, guys, we appreciate you joining us. Jack, Gavin, T, we appreciate you being here. It's another great day. Enjoy a smoke, a good pour. Don't forget Makers. It's a legendary brand included in your repertoire.
Espinosa every day, baby.
Espinosa every day mixed in with those others or whatever. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.